What's good, bro? This is Jen with SeductionUnleashed.com, helping you unleash your best with women and beyond. And today we're talking about how to get over being shy with women. So the other day I was just on the train and I was thinking about this shit to myself. I was just thinking, like, it's funny how even now, even after years and years and years, plus a decade plus, I still get to the point where it's like, if I could be in the house. If I'm in the house all week working, then I go outside, maybe I'm not feeling too social. Maybe I get on the elevator, some shit, and a bad bitch just walk in. In that moment, I could feel nervous. Or I could feel that adrenaline rush. Or I could feel that moment where I don't feel like some dude who's fucked a bunch of women or has had success with women or has just been in different situations. In that moment, you just kind of feel like you know, you kind of feel like that kid who looked at bad bitches when you were younger and was like, damn, like, I just want to talk to her. You don't necessarily feel like this character all the time. And it's all right. That's what one of the things that I had to really come to terms with when I was younger. Like, when I was younger, I was kind of naive. I had this idea that if I got to a certain level of experience, or if I got to a certain level of just different situations that I come across, that I would now never be nervous around bitches. That I would literally like, oh, I'm never gonna be nervous around bitches, or I'll get to a certain point where it clicks. Like, there's some magical fucking button. There's this magical epiphany moment where now I never get nervous around bitches, and I never feel awkward, or I never feel rusty, or like if I've been in the house all day, it doesn't matter because I have all these skills, and to a certain extent that is true. But you're gonna struggle for at least the first 20 minutes. You basically gonna be a bumbling idiot. Doesn't matter how fucking good you are. Doesn't matter how long it's been. Like, if you've been in the house all fucking week watching Dragon Ball Z reruns, a whole season, box set worth, and then you go outside, you're probably gonna feel fucking autistic. And guess what? It's okay. And that ultimately was a big epiphany for me. Again, when I was in high school, I would beat myself up because it got to a point where I was on a big fucking stride, and I was like, yo, I felt like I was unfucking touchable. But then certain situations, I didn't feel like that. Like, you don't feel like that character all the time. And you start to have this, not an identity crisis, but you get frustrated because it's like, why is it that, for example, I'm killing it after school on this bus where every other school, all these different girls, all these different people are on the bus. So I'm interacting with all these people. I'm killing it. All the chicks are fucking digging me. I'm in my zone. I'm speaking. I'm free. But then maybe at school or at work or a part-time job or whatever the case, I feel stiff. I feel kind of like, I don't really feel as comfortable. I don't really feel as natural. But in that moment, I'm beating myself up because I'm like, man, I was just killing it at that party, but now I'm in this quiet environment and I feel stiff, and I'm beating myself up because in that moment I feel like that shy kid again, which is that fucking person I'm trying to kill so much. I'm trying to become this new person. I used to beat myself up, and then after a while, it finally hit me that shit is never gonna go away. It's never gonna go away. And you know what? It's fine. In fact, the moment you acknowledge it, you take the power away from it. That's ultimately how. First of all, I just want to say you need to get your shit together, as in, you know, your shit together, because I didn't just wake up one day like, because that's the thing, you kind of focus so much on the women that you forget for a second. I didn't just wake up like, okay, I'm gonna start talking to girls. I did do that. But I also was like, I need to get my shit together because I was fucking fat. I was a fat kid. I was getting chubby. I had long fucking hair. I used to get confused for a girl all the fucking time. And it got to a point where I was like, dude, I need to cut my hair. I need to dress better. I need to eat better. I need to lose weight. I need to take up sports. And I did all that shit as I was slowly starting to talk to girls, trying to do shit online, and slowly in school, taking little baby steps. So eventually it got to a role where everything just started to click for me, like physically, socially, breaking out of my shell, you know, eating better. Everything started click for me simultaneously, and that was part of it too, because if I just stayed fat with long hair and I was just trying to talk to chicks, I mean, that shit wouldn't really make sense. I probably would have had a bunch of bad experiences, and then maybe that would have stopped me or made me more negative or whatever the case is. So first of all, you need to get your shit together. If you're out of shape, get in shape. If you're If you're fucking shy, slowly start to break out of your shell and speak to people, whether it be that old dude on the elevator or that cool person, that security person at work that you don't really say hi to. Maybe he's always cool with everybody, but you only kind of say hi and you walk by. Take that moment and have that conversation with that dude. Take those moments, okay, ultimately, because when you change as a person, that's ultimately where that real confidence comes from. By the way, bro, if it's your first time here and you're interested in dating, relationships, self-improvement, and motivational content, start now by hitting that button right there so you can join that Unleash notification gang, bro, so you don't miss anything. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. Secondly, you got to start to get good with women. You got to start to put yourself out there, put yourself in more experiences where you're just talking to women, you're getting experience with women, especially beautiful women, because if you start at the top, that's just the best possible place to start. If you could train with fucking Michael Jordan over some guy who teaches basketball at the fucking YMCA or some kid's school, that's obviously the option you're gonna go for. So the faster you get used to talking to the baddest bitches in the room, the faster, the better you're gonna get, period. Don't be one of these fucking guys who's like, hey, I'm gonna talk to this 6 and I'm gonna just kind of hover around there and play it safe. I mean, that's cool. I'm not saying you should be selective. I'm not saying you should warm up with everybody in the fucking room, no matter how they look, and speak to people no matter how they look. I'm not saying that, but if you are using that shit as a crutch to kind of shy away from the really bad bitches that you want, I'm telling you, that shit is going to work against you. Get those, dude, make an ass of yourself now. The problem is it's just like in the hood. Like where I grew up in the Bronx, there's so many people, because we get sold this image in America of the American dream or this certain kind of image. So many people, we want to display that image before we build that actual image. Like everyone on Instagram is showing all the vacation. They're showing all their weekend warrior highlights. Look at me at the club on the weekend. Look at me on vacation on the weekend. You know, we all want to show the shit before we actually built the shit. That's the fucking problem. So when it comes to being out for good with women, we want to have this image of I'm the shit and I want to protect my ego and pride before we actually take and jump over those hurdles and make those inevitable splats on the fucking pavement where we're just gonna be looking like a moron, and there's no way around this shit. Dude, I got slapped in front of everybody in school twice by 2 different bitches, and everyone laughed at me. And guess what? I'm okay. I'm alright. In that moment, I was like, oh shit, damn, I just got slapped in front of everybody. But guess what? I'm still standing, baby. It was good. So once you get your shit together in your personal life, your destiny, your goal, and your overall self-identity, and being confident, breaking out of your social shell, and then you start to get experience with beautiful women, you're putting yourself out there. Ultimately, that third step is to have that realization that it's okay to be nervous around bad bitches. In fact, you should embrace it. In fact, if there is one special bonus technique I would say, is instead of thinking of it as a bad thing, think of that shit as a good thing. For example, think of it as what is actually happening. Like some bad bitch comes next to you, a lot of times guys will feel certain emotions, but it all depends on your perspective, because physically the same thing is happening. For example, if you're a confident guy, you get a bunch of bad bitch walk in the room, you feel an adrenaline rush, you feel nervous, but you feel like, oh man, maybe that dude himself, he feels excited. He's like, oh shit, she's beautiful. Oh man, like whatever the case is, like she's a beautiful woman. Maybe another dude, an ugly fat dude who has nothing but negative experiences, another bad bitch walk in the room, he has the same, physically, he has the same reaction. He's getting an adrenaline rush. The same physical reaction, but mentally, emotionally, it's totally different. He's taking that adrenaline, that ugly fat dude, instead he's taking that adrenaline and it's being used for something negative. Instantly, the adrenaline is being associated with, oh man, I'm not good enough. That's something that I don't have. Like, so it's like you don't even want to look at it. A lot of times dudes, they get angry when they see bad bitches looking pretty out in the street, because it's like a mirror reflection at what they can't have. Just like dudes, you could be rich and famous, people see that shit. A lot of people, they don't want to see that shit. People don't want to see that shit. A lot of times they don't want to see that shit because it's a mirror at what they don't have. People don't react well to that shit. So when you're around bad bitches, you have to reassociate what, for example, if I go outside, I've been in the house all week, 2 weeks, I feel kind of autistic basically. I go outside, I see a bunch of bad bitches in Manhattan, so many beautiful women, I'm almost overwhelmed. In that moment, I could freeze up, I could lock up, I could take that adrenaline and be like, look, oh man, I'm getting nervous. Why am I getting nervous? Or I'm locking up or whatever the case. Or I could take that adrenaline and be like, yo man, this bitch is bad as fuck, man. I'm kind of nervous out here. Shit got me sweating. See, that's the kind of shit you gotta do. Instead, embrace it. Say it out loud. A lot of dudes, when I would be out with them, I used to have homies. I would try to introduce them into the idea of getting good with bitches, and they would see the actual success, but that would make them very defensive around me. So like if we go out, they don't want to take a risk because they don't want to get blown out, or they don't want to get rejected, especially in front of me, because they feel like they're just defensive. And it's no fucking point, because at the end of the day, I got to the point where I'm at, or I got these bitches because of the fact that I made an ass of myself, because I got slapped in class, because I took that fucking risk. So when you're playing it safe and you have that mindset, it's just a bad mindset to have. You see beautiful women, you get nervous, embrace it. That's how whatever the fuck created this universe, however this universe came to be, it designed you to feel that adrenaline rush when you see that physical beauty. So embrace it. Instead, twist it and mold it and associate it to a positive emotion. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, ultimately. That's all I got to say, man. So if you enjoyed that dope, incredibly popular video, if you want to see more on dating, relationships, self-improvement, and motivational content, start now by hitting that button right there. Hit that bitch right there so you can join that Alicia notification game, bro, so you don't miss anything. So with that being said, gentlemen, Alicia Best, and remember, until next time, confidence is bred by competence. Peace.